Hello, everyone. Welcome to Amazing Aircraft, where we explore the history and technology of some of the most amazing aircraft in the world. Today, we will talk about the Saab 35 Draken, a Swedish fighter interceptor developed and manufactured by Saab between 1955 and 1974. The Saab 35 Draken is a remarkable aircraft, especially its innovative and distinctive double delta wing design, which gives it excellent performance at high and low speeds. The Draken was also one of the first Western European fighters to achieve supersonic speed in level flight and one of the first aircraft to perform the Cobra maneuver, a stunning display of agility and aerodynamics. In this video, we will learn more about the development, variants, operational history, and legacy of the Saab 35 Draken and some of its records and accolades. If you are interested in this topic, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Let's get started. The story of the Saab 35 Draken began in the aftermath of World War II when Sweden foresaw a need for a supersonic fighter that could intercept bombers at high altitudes and engage other fighters. Sweden had a unique situation in Europe, as it was a neutral country surrounded by potential enemies or allies that could change sides at any moment. Therefore, Sweden had to rely on its resources and industry to produce its military equipment without depending on foreign suppliers or partners. This also meant that Sweden had to develop its solutions to the technological challenges and requirements that emerged in the jet age. The Swedish Air Force issued a specification for a new interceptor aircraft in 1949, which demanded a top speed of Mach 1.4 to 1.5. Later revised upwards to Mach 1.7 to 1.8 and then to Mach 2.0. The aircraft had to be flown by a single pilot yet be capable of conducting combat operations under all weather conditions, night or day, while operating out of relatively austere airstrips, carrying all equipment needed to neutralize modern jet bombers. It also had to be refueled and rearmed by conscripts with minimal training in no more than 10 minutes. These were very ambitious and demanding requirements for the time, and no existing or planned aircraft could meet them. Saab, the leading aircraft manufacturer in Sweden, took up the challenge and started working on a design that would fulfill these requirements. Saab had already produced successful jet fighters, such as the Saab 21 and the Saab 29 Tunnan. Still, they realized that more than a conventional wing design would be needed to achieve the desired performance and maneuverability. They decided to explore the potential of a delta wing configuration, which had advantages over conventional wings, such as low drag at high speeds, high structural strength, large internal volume for fuel and equipment, and good stall characteristics. However, a pure delta wing also had some drawbacks, such as high drag at low speeds, poor lift-to-drag ratio, high landing speed, and low range. To overcome these problems, Saab devised an innovative solution, a double delta wing. This wing compressed two delta wings of different sweep angles joined together. The inner wing had a higher sweep angle for high-speed performance, while the outer wing had a lower sweep angle for low-speed performance. The result was a wing that combined the best of both worlds: low drag at high speeds, high lift at low rates, good stability and control throughout the speed range, and moderate landing speed. But this wing design was new and untested, so Saab's design staff, headed by aircraft engineer Eric Bratt and a team of more than 500 technicians, constructed a small test aircraft to explore the behavior of the new wing. This test aircraft was called the Saab 210 Draken because it resembled a scaled-down version of the planned fighter aircraft. The Saab 210 flew for the first time on January 21, 1952, and proved that the double delta wing concept was feasible and promising. Encouraged by these results, Saab ordered 3 full-scale prototypes of the new fighter aircraft, the Saab 35 Draken. The prototype flew for the first time on October 25, 1955, without an afterburner or armament. The second prototype, equipped with an afterburner, accidentally broke the sound barrier during its first flight while climbing, making it one of the first European aircraft to do so. The third prototype was fitted with cannons and tested various weapons systems. The prototypes demonstrated excellent performance and handling qualities and impressed Swedish and foreign observers. The Swedish Air Force was delighted with the Saab 35 Draken and ordered several versions for different roles and missions. The first operational version was the J-35A, which entered service in 1960. It was followed by the J-35B, which had an improved engine and radar, and the Sk-35C, a two-seat trainer version. The most produced and advanced version was the J-35F, which had improved electronics and avionics and could fire infrared and radar-guided missiles. The last version to be made was the J-35J. The Saab 35 Draken was also exported to several countries, such as Austria, Denmark, and Finland. Each country had modifications and adaptations to suit its specific needs and preferences. For example, the Danish Drakens were used as strike aircraft and could carry a variety of bombs and rockets, while the Finnish Drakens were fitted with Soviet missiles and countermeasures. The Saab 35 Draken was a remarkable aircraft, especially its innovative and distinctive double delta wing design, which influenced other aircraft designs, such as the Saab 37 Viggen and Saab JAS-39 Gripen. It was also one of the first Western European fighters to achieve supersonic speed in level flight and one of the first aircraft to perform the Cobra maneuver, a stunning display of agility and aerodynamics. It served in various air forces and missions worldwide for over 4 decades and proved to be a competent fighter aircraft of the Cold War period. The Saab 35 Draken was produced in several variants and versions, each with specifications, features, and improvements. The first operational version was the J-35 Atom, which entered service with the Swedish Air Force in 1960. It was powered by a license-built Rolls-Royce Avon engine with an afterburner and could reach Mach 2 in level flight. It was armed with two 30mm cannons and 4 AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles. It also had a French-built radar and a Swedish-built gun sight. The J-35A was produced in 2 subvariants, the J-35A1 with a short afterburner and tail and the J-35A2 with a longer afterburner and bottom. The J-35A was also converted into a twin-seat trainer version, Sk-35C Caesar. The second version was the J-35B Bertel, delivered between 1962 and 1963. It had an improved engine, radar, and a new collision course gun sight. It was also integrated with Sweden's Strill 60 air defense control network, which allowed it to receive digital orders from ground control. The J-35B was also produced in 2 subvariants, the J-35B1 without a radar and an old gyro gun sight, and the J-35B2 with a radar and a new radar gun sight. The J-35B2 could also fire air-to-air rockets for head-on attacks. The third version was the J-35D David, delivered between 1963 and 1965. It had a more robust engine with more thrust, increased internal fuel capacity for a more extended range, and 2 additional hardpoints for external fuel tanks or artillery. It also had an improved radar gun sight that worked with bombs and rockets. The J-35D could also perform toss bombing, a technique that allowed it to drop bombs from low altitudes without entering enemy fire range. The J-35D was also produced in 2 subvariants, the J-35D1 without a radar and an old gyro gun sight, and the J-35D2 with a radar and a new radar gun sight. The fourth version was the S-35E Eric, a reconnaissance version of the J-35D. It had no armament or radar but 9 cameras in the nose and fuselage for aerial photography. It could also carry an infrared reconnaissance system in a pod under the belly. It also had a countermeasure pod with chaff and flare dispensers under the wings for self-protection. The fifth version was the J-35F Philip, delivered between 1965 and 1972. It had improved electronics and avionics, such as integrated radar, aim, and missile systems. It could fire infrared and semi-active radar homing versions of the Hughes Falcon missile, which were more advanced than the Sidewinder missiles. However, one of the cannons was removed to make space for more avionics. The sixth version was the J-35J Johan, produced between 1987 and 1991 by modifying existing J-35 F2S. It had a longer lifespan, modernized electronics, a modernized cannon, 2 additional Sidewinder pylons under the air intakes, and increased external fuel capacity. It was the last and most advanced version of the Draken. The Saab 35 Draken was also exported to several countries, such as Austria, Denmark, Finland, Switzerland, Yugoslavia, and even the United States, for training purposes. Each country had modifications and adaptations to suit its specific needs and preferences. For example, the Austrian Drakens were refurbished J-35DS fitted with Sidewinder missiles after Austria lifted its ban on air-to-air missiles in 1993. The Danish Drakens were modified J-35FS that were used as strike aircraft and could carry a variety of bombs, rockets, and bullpup missiles. They also had had a Marconi HUD and a Ferranti laser rangefinder in a new nose. The Finnish Drakens were a mix of J-35BS, J-35FS, and J-35SS, which were dedicated export versions of the J-35F. They were also fitted with Soviet R-13M missiles and Saab countermeasure dispensers. The Swiss Drakens were J-35DS modified with new avionics, such as a Hughes fire control radar and a Lydon inertial navigation system. They also had a new paint scheme with red and white stripes. The Saab 35 Draken was a remarkable aircraft for many reasons, but especially for being one of the first Western European fighters to achieve supersonic speed in level flight and one of the first to perform the Cobra maneuver, a stunning display of agility and aerodynamics. It was designed as a high-altitude interceptor to defend Sweden from potential Soviet bombers during the Cold War. However, it also proved to be a very capable dogfighter for its era and could perform various roles such as reconnaissance, strike, and training. It was also exported to several countries such as Austria, Denmark, Finland, Switzerland, Yugoslavia, and even the United States for training purposes. Each country had modifications and adaptations to suit its specific needs and preferences. The Saab 35 Draken entered service with the Swedish Air Force in 1960 and was assigned to several fighter wings nationwide. It was integrated with Sweden's Strill 60 air defense control network, which allowed it to receive digital orders from ground control. It was also equipped with advanced electronics and avionics, such as radar, gun sight, infrared search and track sensors, countermeasures, and data links. It could fire infrared and semi-active radar homing versions of the Hughes Falcon missile, which were more advanced than the Sidewinder missiles. It also had two 30mm cannons and could carry various bombs and rockets for air-to-ground missions. The Saab 35 Draken was never used in combat by Sweden, but it participated in several exercises and incidents with NATO and Warsaw Pact aircraft. For example, 1968, a Swedish Draken intercepted a Soviet Tupolev Tu-16 bomber that had violated Swedish airspace over the Baltic Sea. The Draken pilot fired two Falcon missiles at the bomber, but both missed due to electronic jamming. The bomber escaped but was shot down by another Swedish Draken over international waters. In 1987, a Swedish Draken performed a Cobra maneuver in front of a US Navy Lockheed P-3 Orion patrol aircraft flying near Sweden's coast. The Orion crew was so impressed by the Shemet that they requested a copy of the film taken by the Draken's camera. The Saab 35 Draken underwent several upgrades during its service life in Sweden. The last of these was the J-35J version, produced during the late 1980s. By this point, the Draken had been almost entirely replaced by the more advanced Saab 37 Viggen in Swedish service. The J-35J was effectively a service life extension program, which increased its lifespan, modernized its electronics, added two additional Sidewinder pylons under the air intakes, and increased its external fuel capacity. The J-35J was retired from Swedish service in December 1999. The Saab 35 Draken was also exported to several countries that operated it for different roles and missions. The first export customer was Denmark, which bought 51 Drakens in 1968 to replace its aging F-100 Super Sabres. The Danish Drakens were modified versions of the J-35F model that were used as strike aircraft and could carry a variety of bombs, rockets, and bullpup missiles. They also had a Marconi HUD and a Ferranti laser rangefinder in a new nose. The Danish Drakens were involved in several NATO exercises and simulated attacks on Soviet ships in the Baltic Sea. They were also deployed to Greenland and Iceland for air defense missions. The Danish Drakens were retired in 1993, and some were sold to the United States for training. The second export customer was Finland, which bought 12 new-built and 36 second-hand Drakens between 1972 and 1990 to replace its MiG-21S and Saab J-29 Tunnins. The Finnish Drakens were a mix of J-35BS, J-35FS, and J-35SS, which were dedicated export versions of the J-35F. They were also fitted with Soviet R-13M missiles and Saab countermeasure dispensers. The Finnish Drakens were used for air defense and interception missions and often encountered Soviet aircraft over the Gulf of Finland. They also participated in several exercises with Sweden and NATO countries. The Finnish Drakens were upgraded in the 1990s with new avionics, cockpit displays, navigational or attack systems, and electronic countermeasures. They were retired in 2000 to be replaced by Fa-18 Hornets. The third export customer was Austria, which bought 24 refurbished J-35DS in 1985 to replace its Saab J-29 Tunnens. The Austrian Drakens were similar to the Swedish ones. Still, they had no radar or armament until 1993, when Austria lifted its ban on air-to-air missiles and bought Sidewinder missiles from the United States. The Austrian Drakens were used for air defense and training missions and often intercepted Yugoslav aircraft that violated Austrian airspace during the Balkan Wars. They also cooperated with NATO forces during the Kosovo War. The Austrian Drakens were retired in 2005 to be replaced by Eurofighter Typhoons. The Saab 35 Draken was a versatile and adaptable aircraft that could perform various roles and missions in different air forces. It was also a competent fighter aircraft of the Cold War period, although it was never used in combat. It demonstrated excellent performance, handling qualities, and unique features like the double delta wing, supersonic speed, and Cobra maneuver. The Saab 35 Draken had a significant impact on aviation history and technology, not only in Sweden but also in other countries. It was a pioneer in many aspects of fighter design, such as integrated electronics and avionics, digital data link, collision course gun sight and fire control radar, infrared search and track sensor, countermeasures, supersonic aerodynamics, blended wing body configuration, and Cobra maneuver capability. It also influenced other aircraft designs, such as the Saab 37 Viggen and Saab JAS-39 Gripen, which inherited some of Draken's features and innovations. The Saab 35 Draken also earned some records and accolades during its service life. It was one of the longest-serving fighter aircraft in Europe, spanning over 4 decades from 1960 to 2005. It was also one of Saab's most successful export products, with over 100 aircraft sold to Austria, Denmark, Finland, Switzerland, Yugoslavia, and the United States. Many pilots and experts praised its performance, handling qualities, versatility, and adaptability to different roles and missions. The Saab 35 Draken is now retired from active military service, but it is still preserved and displayed in several museums or air shows worldwide. The Swedish Air Force Museum in Linköping, Sweden, has several Drakens on display, including prototypes, trainers, fighters, and reconnaissance versions. The Finnish Aviation Museum in Vanda, Finland, has 2 Drakens on display, a DK's reconnaissance and DFF fighter versions. The Danish Aviation Museum in Stavanger, Denmark, has 3 Drakens on display, an RF-35 reconnaissance version, a TF-35 trainer version, and an F-35 fighter version. The Austrian Aviation Museum in Zeltweg, Austria, has 2 Drakens on display, an 35 OF fighter and a J-35D fighter. The National Test Pilot School in Mojave, California, USA, has 6 Drakens formerly in Danish service. They were used as training aircraft for test pilots until 2009. The Planes of Fame Air Museum in Chino, California, USA, has 1 Draken formerly in Danish service. It is painted in Swedish Air Force colors and is flown occasionally at air shows. What do you think? Do you have any questions or comments about the Saab 35 Draken? Please let us know in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching this video series from Amazing Aircraft. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you want to see more videos like this one, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified when we upload new videos. This is Amazing Aircraft, signing off. Until next time, keep flying high and stay safe.